DTR, what's up, man? It's going all right. Yes, sir.
Dorian, how did your camp come through? How does it feel now? How do you feel heading into this game?
Yeah, starting out in the last week, was kind of feeling a little tightness in there. Second play of the game, probably took a wrong step, trying to push off it on that quarterback keeper. It just kind of felt like a big pop in there, like a big strain. Got back in here, got some treatment on it. Feels really well right now. The guys in here have been taking care of me. And then with this schedule, with Christmas having off, just coming in here on Tuesday, they gave me a little extra few days to let it rest up. So it feels great right now.
It looked like you ran it pretty well with the rest of the game. Did you think it slowed you down at all?
Nothing could ever slow me down if it's not broke or torn all the way out the bone. I'll play with any injury there is. And that's just kind of how I've always been, whether it dates back to college or whatever. I live for moments like those to, go out there and play. So I wouldn't want anything to take away from that.
You had to throw a lot in Cincinnati. Would you like to see a little more balance in the play selection?
That's not my job. My job is to go out there and run this offense and get us up and down the field and score each and every drive. Like I said, each and every drive with a kick. And right now, we're focusing on not trying to beat ourselves. The turnovers, the penalties, the things that set us back offensively. It's really the things we're trying to work to clean up. So.
Dorian, we saw the clip on Hard Knocks where you're sitting in the room with Jameis, and he's kind of walking you through his weekly routine, what he does each day of the week. What did that mean to you, the fact that he's taking the time to kind of walk you through his processes, and then also, too, what did you learn from it? What do you feel like you can implement from that to help you?
Since I've gotten here, as you guys know, there's been a bunch of veteran quarterbacks that have come through so far in my year and a half of being here. And with every guy that comes through here, I've done the exact same thing, trying to ask them as many questions as possible. I'm still a young guy, so trying to build up my routine and repertoire as I go through this thing, even though I feel like I've set a pretty good foundation for it. But, Jameis has been, like I said, great all year, whether I'm up, Deshaun's up, whoever's in there, or whether he's in there. Just showing, like I said, he's been around guys like Drew Brees and Tom Brady. So I'm sure he's asked the same questions. But Jameis has helped out a lot with just being able to see things pre-snap, coverages, fronts, eliminate things from your reads a little bit quicker, earlier, getting into different protection tips and tricks that he's learned along the way. Like I said, that can only help me out, so I figured I'd ask.
The game didn't go the way you wanted, obviously, but you feel better having been through it, and now you're in a little bit of a routine as the starter?
Tony, you could have asked the same thing last year. I'm not going to use that as an excuse anymore. Like I said, this isn't my first time playing. I'm not a rookie no more, so I can't use that as an excuse. I got to go out there and be able to execute. And when things don't go right, don't make a bad play worse. And like I said, those are kind of the things I'm working to eliminate.
At least you have something to look at and correct.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Do you feel good about correcting that?
Yeah, of course. That's what Monday through Friday is for. And definitely coming in here being a big self-critic of myself on Monday. And really, dissecting that film for each play as its own, and not trying to, sugarcoat stuff or point fingers here and there. Like looking myself truly in the mirror on each and every play, good or bad, just so we can correct it up, clean it for next week. That's a good question. I mean, that these guys, they have my back. They were encouraging me, not only during the game, but after the game. I think everybody in here sees the potential. And that's probably the most frustrating thing to me, is that I'm not showing it right now. And so that's what I'm working towards, is trying to be able to put a complete full game out there on Sunday. So
we talked to Jerry about just you guys continue to kind of get on the same page and work through some things. And, as you're building chemistry with a receiver, just how does that process go? What are those conversations like?
Yeah, getting the ball. That's probably the biggest thing. He's a great receiver, great route runner, knows how to create separation. And even when he's doubled, after looking back at that last game, even when he got doubled on a few plays, he broke free. Whether it's second window or on a choice route, like just finding space. And so that's probably the biggest thing is making sure I can trust him and his routes, and then obviously he's going to trust me to put the ball where it's supposed to. So that's probably the biggest thing. We're getting on the same page with him is, just doing my part and getting him the ball.
Did you ever find yourself getting off of him too quickly?
Yeah, for sure. Again, I'm trying to go through my reads. We hadn't really practiced them doubling Jerry as much as they did. So kind of had to adjust on the fly. But again, that falls back on me on knowing the timing and spacing of the concepts, and then just trusting our best receiver.
When you went back and watched the film, the interceptions, what were those avoidable? Like, what did you see with those?
All interceptions are avoidable. It's all based on the quarterback's decision to either hold on to the ball or throw it. The one in the red zone, we didn't get to our zero check with the amount of time that was on the clock. So right then and there, you're already stuck into a bad play with the protection. Like I just mentioned, don't make a bad play worse. Eat the sack, kick a field goal. Don't give them back the momentum. The second one to Dave, definitely a bonehead play on me. Like I talked about on Sunday, trying to give one of our best 50-50 ball players a chance right there. But again, that goes back to, don't put the ball in harm's way. The quarterback rule that lives for 100 years of don't throw late over the middle. And really just trusting my legs, like I had been bragging about and talking about all last week, to be able to use it in that situation instead of trying to throw up a play. So
When you went back and watched it, what could you have done, if anything, to help negate some of those negative plays? Like, I guess 5 sacks, a couple of those runs, actions off the edge and tackles you for loss. Is there something you could have done to avoid some of those?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the sacks. It's a big emphasis for me this week, stepping up in the pocket. I did for the majority of the game, but like you said, a few of those plays, they caught me where it was a 6-yard sack instead of being a 1 or 2 yard sack, and we're in 2nd and 12 instead of 2nd and 15. And then really the run plays early on in the game, they had a great plan, blitzing the nickel. Wasn't too much I could do. It's not like I could have seen the rotation or anything with the motions. And so I'd say that was definitely a good defensive call on their part. But definitely the sacks, I could definitely do a lot better job in that area.
If you've been studying this Miami defense, what concerns you most as you prepare to face them?
Yeah, it's a disguised defense. They may not zero you or pressure you a bunch, but they're going to run a ton of games up front. They're going to switch the coverage on you every down and really try to make the quarterback think. So, again, that falls on me not putting the ball in harm's way and keeping us moving on 1st and 2nd down so we're not stuck in 3rd and downs.
David said this.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have said last game, and Dave was banged up for most of the last game. So it's going to be the same game plan, same process for me in terms of going through my reads. Like I said, we still have Jerry, our best receiver. So really focus on getting him the ball. And then other than that, we got great talent in the receiver room and at tight end. Guys that I trust fully with Jordan Akins, Blake Whitehart, and then obviously E. Moore, and those guys that are stepping up in the receiver room for sure. So I have no worries come Sunday. I was just out there at practice today, and it looks seamless. So like I said, I'm not worried about that.
Joe Burrow says to stick with your legs and keep that kind of reinforce your own beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, we both are coached up by the same trainer in the off season. I watch a ton of his tape. Me and Jameis actually talk about how efficient he moves in the pocket. It's something we try to emulate. But yeah, when one of the best to do it right now in this season tells you something like that, and it's obviously something I already know, but just to hear it from him, it means a lot. So
Coming into a game, you obviously know on each play what our potential escape routes are. How different can that be, though, from what happened in real time?
I mean, it's very different than you sitting there with a clicker and stopping it every 5 seconds versus when the bullets are flying live. But yeah, you kind of know based off of whether it's personnel, how their front is lined up pre-snap, how we're blocking, the protection we're sending to of kind of where your escape routes are going to be. And then you also got to take into account where your routes are going to end up going to. So that way you have somebody to throw to if the defense does want to come up on you. So.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, guys.